Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Today, we're going to be making a craft.
That's
like
right,
usual.
folks. That's right, folks. Tonight, we're going to turn this giant skeleton army man into a Wendigo. To go along with our Western crafts of the month, we looked far and wide for a Western-themed monster, if you will.
And that's the closest thing we could get, so here we are.
We had a couple other ideas, but they were just a little bit...
generic.
Not generic. First, I'm going to cut off that axe blade, and this one I'm going to cut off...
The entire thing?
Yes. The one that's remaining is going to be like a bone.
And that's gone forever.
That was nice. That was a nice shot. Too bad I didn't have a basket to try to make it into. Get you in the eye? Okay, good.
It almost landed in that bag.
Then I'm going to actually cut this arm and position it lower for a different pose.
And we're also going to try to make his face not look like a monkey with goggles.
Yeah, it's a cheapie, you know.
I got it from it was a prize at one of those
like
arcades.
Mulligans or something like that?
Yeah, but it was some...
Where you had to pay like
generic.
4,000 tickets for it?
No, I had to pay like 3.
Oh, okay.
And those also, yeah, it was this place out in Los Angeles, I think, where I went to.
And once I've done a few things to it, the little guy is going to... Why don't you mix me up some miliput while we're
Okay.
doing
How much?
No, just a total ball.
Also, I have no idea how it's, like, what do you do with the stuff that's left? Because obviously this isn't the same.
I don't know. It keeps happening. I've been trying to measure
better.
It's not about measuring better. I think one half of the mixture comes in a lesser quantity because I've been getting better and better at the measuring of it, and it just keeps dwindling to where, you know, we have more of one color than the other.
And what do you do with that one other
Eventually
color?
I'm going to have an entire stick left over. And then I'm just going to call Green Stuff World and see if they can hook me up with a half a package of miliput. Let's see how we want this pose to look from the front, so I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I like that better. I'm also going to be using the baking soda to quick dry it instead of the accelerant, because I do sometimes like the effect that the baking soda has. It gives a kind of a clumpy texture.
And you're not going to use the spray?
No. Although I probably should, just because for expedience sake, but I'm going to try and get this right where I want it. And get it in there. Actually, you know what? Can you grab that super glue bottle and add some super glue for me?
Super glue bottle?
It's right in front of me.
Where?
Put it right in the joint. Right there. No, not up. Yeah, up by the shoulder, not by the... Yeah, there you go.
There's a lot on it.
Okay, now can you dump the spoonful on it? Just don't worry, just dump it real good. There you go. Okay, now it's stuck to my hand, and that was it.
Oh, maybe
Let's try some more super glue. No, not at the elbow. Just squeeze it out right there. Because it's sticking to my hand. Okay, we're good. Okay, pour a little more on there. There we go. That's all we need.
Okay.
See, I'll cut off that little clump there later, but that's what I was talking about. It'll help hide the horrible joint that it had, and also on his chest, because he's, you know, a skeleton, we want to hide a lot of the bony looks to him, but we still want him to be very, very emaciated looking, because according to the lore, as the little guy will probably tell you,
this guy eat other person and then he turned into monster.
right?
It's a lot
It's
more
the
symbolism.
apparently a curse for cannibalism in the Northwest and other parts of the United States. I think it was,
Which, I mean, it makes sense why that myth was created.
yeah, because eating people is bad.
Yeah. In almost every way possible.
And it can't possibly taste good in any way. I don't know.
Yeah, I genuinely think that there is nothing good about cannibalism, aside from that it will keep you alive for a bit longer if you're lost. But if you need to resort to that, then there's a high chance that you probably won't make it anyways.
Yeah. It's a little bit too much of the super glue build up here, but I think we can.
And
We're expecting a package.
yeah,
That's probably the spinner.
it is the spinner. Wow.
Cool.
Surprised you didn't hear the doorbell.
We'll open that later. We had to replace these.
This is an unboxing video as well.
We had to replace the previous
it's actually not.
turntable we were using. It was clearly defective, and so we got a better one, a little bit larger, and
There's a light in it. You messed up?
no, I cut his arm off
How?
because I clipped the super glue because there's just a little bit too much super glue buildup, and I didn't want that much. But that's okay. We just do it over again. We've made mistakes before.
I hate that sound.
Not the first one, not the last time. Well,
Okay.
let's cut it all right back off. That's fine. But it did cover up part of the chest, which we actually wanted. But I'm just going to cut that off anyway, so we can cover it with miliput. Okay. Got super glue.
Yeah.
And this time, just glue it in the shoulder joint, just like that. Well, let me get it in a good position.
It's good.
Yeah, now get a spoonful of baking soda. And just a little more. If you pour it slower, it might work a little. Okay, we're good. As long as I can get it to stop sticking to my hands, we're good. See, that's a little bit more Wendigo pose than the way he looked before, I think. It sort of acts as a filler at the same time as an accelerant. And if I just used the...
That's the difference in color. It's slightly grayer.
Yeah. Now put the two things back, the two original chunks of milliput. Do you know which bags they went into?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
good.
obvious. Gray, but it's still green because it has that weird stuff on them.
Okay.
Which is weird. The first one we ever got didn't have that stuff. And everyone since then had that stuff on it.
Yeah, I think it sits in a factory or in a warehouse shelf for a while before it ships out and it starts to change shape and not shape but change color while it's sitting there. We've had sometimes it has like that particular color, the grayish color, has like a thickening effect or hardening effect.
It does now.
On the outside layer of it, kind of like when paint dries, it's got that film
Or
over it.
when paint partially dries.
Yeah, but for the most part, as long as it's still soft, although I've heard some people, Nathan was telling us that every time he has bought it, it's like half completely dried and useless for him, so he's not a big fan of it. But
That's weird. We've never had that problem.
no, we haven't. I love the stuff. Little guy prefers the green stuff better, but we
Yeah.
we have different.
We haven't used green stuff, which is kind of a shame in my opinion.
Right. Well.
But you prefer milliput, and it is a bit more useful for the stuff we do.
Right. We are going to eventually use it more, but it's more of a precision
That's why
clay, I think.
That's why it's used for sculpting a lot.
Yeah, and we haven't been doing a lot of sculpting per se. We are going to do some, I think, in our next craft video.
Yes.
And
Even though the reason I don't want to do sculpting is because not everyone can do that.
Right.
It takes a lot of practice.
But we picked something that's pretty simple for our sculpting. Can I have that back, please?
Yes.
And we picked something. We picked a sort of sculpting idea that's a little bit
simple,
more accessible for the average crafter.
Yeah.
But we are going to also offer an alternative method to make the craft. So anybody who doesn't want to sculpt can just...
Even though it is a much simpler sculpting thing than most of the time.
Yeah. Hopefully it will turn out fun and useful for you folks. And after I put on the miliput here, he's going to give it the fur and hair textures that he's so good at, while I will be taking this wire and creating his antler horns that every...
Okay. That's way too big.
Okay.
You make the horns, and I guess make...
Well, I was going to give him some long hair in the back, you know,
Oh.
because, you know, we made him, you know, a couple of long hairs. Not hippies, though. Don't ever get the two confused. I'm going to make it so he has a little hair on the top of his head, but you can give him the receding hairline if you want. I think I should
Kind
have...
of dead.
Yeah, but, you know, we want to kind of hide that. Well, you know, it kind of looks like a headband. You know, he could be, you know, an Indian. You know what I mean? Look.
Most kind of
R.
are.
You want to put any more milliput anywhere else? You giving him a nose?
Kind of.
Well, use your toothpick if you need it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the camera can see what you're doing. Let's move this stuff out of the way. While I go get the molds so we don't waste this milliput.
I'm really just doing this to add a bit more shape to the face.
I think we need
Why is it so pig-like?
giant beetles this time.
Okay, let me just flatten it a bit, and I messed it up.
Just be careful, and maybe instead of resting it on the blackboard there, try resting it on the napkin
that's
so it'll give it
tiny.
a little bit of texture as you're doing it, instead of making it flat. Maybe that'll help.
No, that's not gonna help though. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay.
You're gonna do the hair or the fur, or
Yes.
okay. I'm gonna just try and quickly squeeze this into this mold here.
Even though I don't really think this is the best for hair. It might work.
Just, you know, make him look, you know, grungy. And he's been out in the woods eating people, you know, he probably doesn't comb his
And
hair.
kind of also himself. That's a thing.
Yeah, oh, really?
Yeah, they don't have any lips because they eat them. So they're
That's-
very hungry.
Yeah, that's really nasty.
Yeah, but that was kind of the point.
That is really disturbing.
That was kind of the point. To discourage people from eating each other because it's bad.
Yeah, that's... Okay, that'll do for that mold, and then what do we need? Just make another giant fire beetle there.
There's armor though, like plates.
On them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna cover that with some
Yeah.
miliput, but I didn't get around to it.
Oh, you're doing the molds?
Yeah, just to not waste the
I thought you were doing the.
antlers. No, I'm gonna do that in just a second.
Okay.
It won't take that long. It's just twisting some wires up and showing them what they're gonna look like, and then we'll wait until the miliput on his head dries, and then I can just pin vise drill some holes in his head.
I don't even want this.
Oh.
Now, when miliput works, it's really good to work with, but sometimes it can be very annoying, very frustrating when it just falls off while you're working with it.
Yeah, we forgot to bring some water out here to make it a little more sticky on the reverse side.
That look good?
Yeah, it looks really good. And you covered up the one knee. You gonna use the other stuff to cover up his other knee?
No, I don't want it to be consistent.
Oh, okay. So he's like a little off kilter there.
I'll probably add a bit here just so that it doesn't seem too consistent, like one on his elbow. No, really, it technically isn't on the elbow. That's really difficult to get it on. Oh, wow, never mind, I'm not doing that.
Well, maybe if you use a bigger clump.
No, it was because the baking soda and super glue's there.
Oh, okay.
I might be able to actually.
For his antlers, I just took a piece of wire and bent it and twisted it around itself to basically make a little Y shape. And then I'm going to thread a couple more pieces of wire to, make it more antler looking. They don't have to exactly be antlers. They're horns of some variety or another, but I've seen a couple of different miniatures of Wendigo, and they all look somewhat, deer-like, but it doesn't really
Kind
make
of
it.
weird. Deers don't eat each other. They don't eat meat.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's a really weird concept.
Yeah,
Making-
the original Wendigos were very
Just-
similar to zombies in
Yeah.
appearance.
Yeah,
Just a bit different in, I think, like the color of stereotypical zombies, which is usually green for some reason. And some corpses do become, I think, a shade of green for a while. But
I think that'll work. What do you think?
for both?
No, just for one.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll do the same thing with the other one. And then I will cover these with probably just regular super glue, although sometimes I use a gel and get it, to run in and cover it, sort of give it a thin extra coating, but it doesn't obscure all the twisting details that I'm making by wrapping the wire around to to look a little thicker, but not too thick. Kind of how I did the antlers, not just the antlers, but the hands for the scarecrows, and I think I did the same thing with the Sam Hain character we created.
I
And
think
also,
that you did it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you did that.
and also for the staff for the
Demon?
the Final Faction Demon. That's right.
Yeah.
And I'll trim these down a little bit more once they're on his head. But what do you think?
Pretty neat.
So let's lay them down so they can see what the finished project will look like.
Oh, I don't want to play this guy.
Well, I'll hold him. How's that? You can hold him. But there you go. A simple, easy, creepy American monster for your Western games.
Thing.
I'm pretty sure there wasn't a Wendigo in the Zombicide Western version that we backed this last month. I'll probably actually paint him during the Dragon of the Month video this weekend, because he should be ready to go, so you'll get a better look at him then.
Yeah.
And there you have it, folks. Hope you like him. Hope you weren't too creeped out by his lore and history. I'm glad we already ate. So from all of us here at Shadow and Sun, hope you guys had a nice week crafting and painting with us. And we will see you Sunday. So have a great weekend, everybody. Say goodnight, sport.
Yes. Bad of day.
Yeah, he had a very long day.
Not really.
Oh, okay.
And luckily it wasn't as much wind as Tuesday.
Oh yes, Tuesday was a very windy day for us, and we rode our bikes to and from school.
Well,
so.
anyways, good night, everyone. Bye.